Welcome to ObserveNow's third edition of Super40 Digital Native Summit and Awards 2024, presented by Nivius Google Cloud, co-presented by IBM. I have here with me Mr. Vipin from CollegeDekho, and I would like to kindly request you, sir, to please give a brief introduction of yourself.
Sure. So my name is Vipin. I'm the CTO slash CPO for CollegeDekho. I head product and engineering for CollegeDekho. So that's my introduction. To give more introduction, I'm from IIT Bombay. Worked in US for 10, 12 years. Worked with Yahoo, worked with Oracle. Now I've been working in India with medium-sized companies as the CTO slash CPO. So this is my background.
Sounds interesting, sir. So, sir, talking about why we're all gathered today, what is your take on the theme that we have today? Digital natives, transforming digital future, generative AI, all in its essence.
Right. So the field of AI, especially generative AI, has created a lot of excitement. So in fact, almost every panel today touched upon or talked or they used the word AI in their conversations, right? So it is the topic du jour, like it's the topic of the day, and probably topic of the day or the year or years to come. And everybody is excited about this technology because it is transformative in many ways. So it is, you can create content which has not been created before. You can do automation which was not possible before, and now it is possible, which I think is sort of like a aha moment for myself, is that you have all these systems which were earlier connected using APIs, and now we can connect all these systems through natural human language. So for example, you have some knowledge base somewhere or some system, some database somewhere. You can essentially talk to that system and connect it with another system which was not possible earlier. The ease of connection was not there earlier. So that is why this is such a transformative technology, and it will end up impacting almost every business function, every aspect of business as we know of.
Sounds really insightful, sir, and something really to be thinking about.
Right.
As you mentioned, generative AI is like the topic of du jour, as
Right.
Persians would put it. But what happens in the future? How do you envision it? Generative AI, how do you envision it changing the future in, let's say, in the next 5 to 10 years?
Sure. So one thing which I already talked about is business process transformation. There's a lot of efficiencies and optimizations which will happen as a process of business process automation. Simultaneously, when we think about all these systems as Lego blocks and we start to put them together and construct something bigger out of it, so that will open up possibilities for something which you have not even imagined, right? So, and people are already talking about, elimination of jobs, dangers of AI, that it will, make, in some ways it will start controlling human beings. So people are, imaginating, or I would say hyperboling or about this topic. So it's wait and watch. Let's see what happens. But one thing is for sure, that businesses, every aspect of business process will get impacted in the short term.
So do you not agree with it, or all the hyperbole that is going on with it? Because I remember one of our speakers put up, when we talked about vision, that there is a quantum AI that might come up in the next 10 years.
Right.
And you mentioned manipulating human behavior in terms of AI. So if generative AI in today's date is that powerful, let's say 10 years later when we talk about quantum AI, wouldn't that be more powerful and maybe enough to actually manipulate human behavior and take up all the jobs?
Right. So there are two things. One is manipulation of human behavior, influencing of human behavior. That is already happening.
Yeah.
So if you look at, since the advent of smartphone, the attention span of human beings has gone down.
Yeah.
The number of people who they know each other, it is called, like, I think there's a word for it in sociology. We actually have more connections now than it was possible earlier. So technology, which includes AI, is already impacting human behavior. It's already manipulating us in terms of the reels which we see, in terms of the TikTokization of our entertainment industry. So all of it is already happening. But what I sort of downplay when people talk about it, that it's an existential threat. So is it an existential threat? I don't think so. So I don't think that humanity is at any danger of being AI. A lot of people, like smart people in the world, have talked about it. I'm not in the camp where I think that AI is going to eat up the world and it's going to influence. Yes, every technology does. but it is not an existential threat, in my opinion.
That's actually a very rare opinion in today's world. So quite an interesting one and something people should of course be exploring. So sir, just a takeaway from today, maybe like if you have to think about the whole day, what was the most interesting thing that you witnessed, something that stuck for you in the day?
Sure. So I think everybody talked about AI, and a lot of smart people in the room, a lot of conversations, interesting conversations in terms of just using AI to change and transform and optimize their businesses. But what was most interesting to me was the all women's panel. So you actually had this site with Tanya, who's a founder of ObserveNow, and she's moderating a panel of women entrepreneurs and women CXOs to a largely men's audience.
Yeah.
And they're talking about their experiences, that how hard it is for women to actually do something in the man's world. And it hit me for the first time. Like I never saw it from their perspective. And when they started sharing, one thing which they would, if they had to give an advice to women entrepreneurs, what advice would they give, right? So the advice, most of the advice was actually applicable to everyone, right? And so one thing which stayed with me was Tanya when she said that if you're not the smartest people in the room, you should change the room you're in.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of how important it is to actually continuously seek smarter people, seek people whom you can learn from. So yeah, I mean, this aspect of the women's only panel was actually quite interesting.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing that with us. Just to close off, how was your overall experience today?
No, it was great. I think met a lot of smart people, interesting people, made a lot of connections. I think that's what mostly these events are for. Great job organizing it, very well organized in terms of the logistics, the support, and the vibe. So good luck and well done.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us. It was totally our pleasure. Thank you.